Okay, let's just dive straight in. June 5th, 2025.
Right.
We're going to look at this day through, well, two really different lenses. It's almost like tracking different kinds of sparks, you know?
Uh-huh. Like cosmic sparks up there and then human sparks down here.
Exactly. That's a good way to put it.
So for this deep dive, we've got two sources, both from Tarot by High C. There's their astrology of the day for June 5th,
Okay.
and also their story of the day.
Hmm.
It's a really interesting pairing. You've got the stars, and then this story about some kind of secret meeting.
Yeah, it is fascinating. So, our mission, really, for you, is to pull out the key insights from both, see where they kind of overlap, where they maybe clash a bit,
Mhm.
and just see what interesting nuggets pop out about the potential of this specific day, June 5th. You know, what are the stars and this secret room full of thinkers
Yeah.
telling us?
Well, starting with the astrology for the 5th,
Yeah.
it really kicks off with this feeling of flow, harmony. It's a good day for finding balance, especially in relationships, looking for that productive middle ground.
Sounds pretty peaceful at first
It
glance.
does, but then the forecast brings in something more, well, dynamic.
Oh,
Yeah, it
no.
points to this really strong ability to get ideas across,
Mm,
like with real clarity, real confidence, assertiveness in how you communicate,
right.
and even potential for some genuinely creative breakthroughs.
And that mental energy, that clarity,
Mm.
is that tied to anything specific?
Yes, absolutely. The source highlights a particular aspect, Mercury sextile Mars.
Okay, Mercury sextile Mars. So Mercury, that's communication, the mind,
Right,
and Mars is action, drive, assertion.
you got it. So when they're in a sextile like this, think brain power plus bravado.
Brain power plus bravado. I like that.
Yeah, it gives your thoughts confidence, maybe even a bit of volume. There's this real urge to take your ideas public, state them assertively.
So it's not just having big thoughts, it's feeling that push to actually say them, maybe like louder or with more conviction than usual.
Precisely. And the source really stresses that your words need to line up with your actions here. It gives speech a kind of um, spark, real impact.
Okay.
Expect strong opinions, maybe some spicy conversations. The mind's going to be really active, really alert.
But there's a caution in there too, isn't there? Something about avoiding theatrical monologues.
Yes, exactly. Aim for clarity, not just ego. That's really key. It's about being sharp and clear, not just making noise for the sake of it.
Makes sense. Sharpness over showmanship.
Absolutely. And another really significant insight mentioned is the potential for sudden breakthroughs, like crystal clear answers to problems you've been stuck on for ages.
Ah, interesting.
People might just find the courage they needed to say what they've been holding back. Conversations could get dramatic, yeah, but maybe productively dramatic. Even fun, perhaps.
Okay. And there was something else, a temptation for quick decisions.
Uh-huh. With the advice to check your intuition first. So your brain's firing fast, yes, but you got to check in with that gut feeling too.
Right, don't just leap.
Exactly. And then layered on top, later in the day, there's a mention of the Libra moon trine the sun.
Okay, Libra moon trine sun, how does that fit in?
Well, that aspect kind of softens things. It harmonizes the energy. So while Mercury Mars is all assertive mental power,
Hmm.
the Libra moon brings in this natural sense of balance, cooperation, maybe some inner peace. It helps blend that confident expression with, like, relational ease.
So it's like a calming influence joining the party later on.
Yeah, a cooperative undercurrent supporting that assertive spark. It helps integrate everything.
Okay, so the cosmic picture for June 5th is energized thinking, confidence, assertion, but also potential harmony. Clarity is possible if you keep the ego in check.
That's a great summary.
Right. Now, let's totally switch gears, our second source.
Like,
The story of the day, called The Spark Room. That title alone.
it really is intriguing, isn't it?
Yeah.
The story describes this hidden place, apparently high up in a busy city. Only a few people know about it.
And it's called.
The place where ideas caught fire.
Wow. Okay. What happens in this fabled spark room?
Well, a group gathers there. 6 people, all different backgrounds, but they share this drive to think, to talk, and crucially, to challenge each other.
Challenge each other. How?
The description is really vivid. It says, words flew like sparks from a flint. Opinions clashed, not with hostility, but with the electric crackle of mutual respect.
Huh. Intense but respectful clashing. That's interesting. It also says something like, if you had something to say, you said it loud and without apology.
Exactly. Very direct. And the room itself, it's described as reflecting that energy. Neon lights, whiteboards crammed with notes, blinking tablets.
Sounds chaotic.
In a good way, maybe. And here's where the spark thing gets literal in the story. It says, a burst of light from someone's thought bubble, a literal shimmering pulse of brain power,
Hmm.
would momentarily steal the attention.
Whoa, okay, like actually visualizing an idea, the thought bubble lighting up.
Yeah, quite the image. Then the story zooms in on a debate between two characters. Near thinks the main problem is delivery, making people feel something.
Right, the emotional connection.
But then Rafik argues, no, it's about making people see themselves in the idea, making the future vision personally relevant.
Ah, that classic tension. Head versus heart, or maybe
Yeah.
personal stake versus emotional pull.
Something like that. And the story shows, vividly, the debate is messy, loud. Virtual screens, graphs, sketches flying around, laughter, people talking over each other.
Sounds like some meetings I've been in.
Huh, maybe. And then there's Ezra. He's been quiet, just taking it all in.
The observer.
Right. And the story says he leans back, starts connecting threads nobody else saw, and suddenly there's this, like, flare of light around his head.
Another literal spark.
Seems so. His mind is racing, putting the pieces together from the chaos. And his idea, it cuts through all the noise.
What was it?
A major shift. He basically says, stop trying to sell the vision. Instead, make it something people can claim. Make it their own. Like an open source future where people write their own story within it.
Wow. That's a big pivot. Empowering people instead of persuading them.
Exactly. And the story describes the silence after he says it. Then this eruption of energy. Everyone jumps in, excitedly building on his idea, not just praising it.
And the story makes a point about ego.
Yes, very clearly. It wasn't about who got the credit. It was the thrill of the thought itself, the hunt for clarity, the shared passion among people who weren't afraid to speak up boldly.
A really powerful picture of collaborative creation driven by honesty and courage.
Definitely. Intellectual honesty and the guts to voice big ideas.
Okay, so let's bring these two sources together. We have the astrology for June 5th pointing towards confident, clear, assertive communication, creative energy, potentially harmonious.
Mm.
And then we have this story, The Spark Room, showing a space where ideas literally ignite through intense, respectful debate and building on each other's thoughts. What jumps out when you put them side by side for this specific day?
Oh, that's pretty striking, isn't it? How much the story seems to almost enact the astrological potential.
How so?
The astrology talks about expressing ideas with clarity and confidence, that brain power plus bravado,
Right.
taking thoughts public, those moments of sudden clarity.
And the Spark Room story literally shows people doing that. Saying things loud and without apology, words like sparks, Ezra's sudden breakthrough, everyone confidently building on the idea.
Exactly. And remember, the astrology also mentioned productive collaborations, finding middle ground, especially with that Libra moon influence later.
Yeah.
The Spark Room, even with its clashes, is fundamentally about mutual respect and collective creation. Disagreement isn't destructive. It actually builds something new together.
It really does feel like the cosmic weather forecast for June 5th creates the perfect climate for the kind of thing happening in that fictional room. Like the energy is right for that kind of intensity and breakthrough.
And that astrological advice, aim for clarity over ego.
It's mirrored perfectly in the story. The focus is on the thrill of the idea, the shared fire, not who gets the spotlight.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? This comparison raises a question for you listening. How much of a day's potential energy, like this assertive mental spark on June 5th, actually gets realized? How much depends on the environments we choose or create?
Or the intentions we bring to them.
Exactly. Both sources, in their own ways, seem to be saying that clarity, confidence, and just the willingness to engage assertively or cooperatively, that's the key to making ideas happen, whether it's, finding harmony in a relationship or sparking a totally new concept.
Okay, so let's try and wrap this up and connect it back to you, our listener. We've taken this deep dive into June 5th's potential energies. We talked about flow, harmony, but also confident communication, that kind of potent mix of brain power and bravado leading towards clarity.
And we explored this symbolic place, the spark room, where ideas literally catch fire because people talk openly, challenge each other respectfully, and focus on building something together, not on their own egos.
Right. We've seen how clear thinking can cut through complexity, and how shared sparks, even from clashing viewpoints, can forge something new.
So think about your own spark room. Maybe it's not a literal room. Maybe it's a conversation. Maybe it's just time you set aside for focused thought or a creative session. Wherever or however you find that space, for energized, clear thinking and collaboration.
What ideas are you nurturing there? What's ready for its spark?
Now what's brewing?
And remember how the story ended? The city glowed a little brighter that night, almost literally lit up by the birth of this breakthrough idea in the spark room.
It's a powerful image.
It really is. So the final thought to leave you with is this. If clarity, confidence, and collaboration in a fictional room can light up a whole city in a story, what happens when your sparked ideas find their light out here in the real world? How do we even begin to measure that kind of impact?